Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. In our last episode, we got glass running nicely, which it seems to be working properly, which is always a nice feeling. We're definitely still a little short on glass, but that should subside pretty quick once these are backed up to their proper amounts, which we're getting close. 3 out of 4,500 and 500 out of 2,500 petri dishes. So that should back up pretty soon, and then the molten glass will be used up in smaller amounts. So, it seems like manure bacteria next is where we can go, and then from there... Oh god, we've used all of our rubber. You know what? I'm gonna take a sidebar here. We're gonna go for some more Vrauk cocoons. I'm really tired of not having Vrauk Mark IIs. And we're gonna force the issue by adding more, one of these guys. I think I'm gonna add 2 more. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do this yet, but I'm just really tired of not having Vrauk Mark IIs. Man. Because we need more rubber, and I just need more Vrauks for that. There's not really a way around it. Unless I wanted to make absurd amounts of oleochemicals right now, which I do not. Because I don't even think we have the means for it. We'd have to make like 1,000,000 augs for all the lard for all the oleochemicals, which is just not going to happen. Or at least it wouldn't be easier than making more Vrauks, so what would be the point? But, yeah. So, we're just going to do this. Sorry, had to sneeze. Okay, do we have duralumin? Yeah. And then maybe we'll work on Tufra after that. I also just realized I have a lot of crap in my inventory I could get rid of. Let's get rid of the stuff. Ooh, you know what else I could do is grab some more limestone tiles. I'm getting so distracted already in this episode. Look at us go. Look at us go. Alright, let's get this all tiled up. As far as long term, I'm not sure what I want to tile. Like, in the final base, are we going to tile the whole thing or are we not? I'm not sure. Because at some point, you know, it would be pretty reasonably cheap for me to produce limestone tiles to even limestone the entire base. But do I care? I mean, maybe eventually it'll be cheap enough that it'll be worth it, where I can just make like 15 limestone a second and we can literally just cover every city block we make. You know, when I've got like Mark II buildings and beacons and stuff. But at least for now, I'm using trains to get around. And for the most part, walking within a city block is pretty fast. So because I never have to walk more than half a city block from where the train dumps me, it just doesn't feel that useful to, I don't know. It doesn't feel that useful to have, you know, whatchamacallits everywhere, limestone tiles, or tiles in general. But maybe eventually they'll be cheap enough where I'll feel like we should go for it. Okay, so that's done. Do I have quartz in my inventory or some crap like that? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So, now, back to what I was doing. More Vrauk cocoons. How are we gonna manage this? Hopefully we have enough flora and moss for it. We're gonna need a couple more sap trees, a couple Vrauks to run things. Where are some Vrauks? Why are there none on this belt? That's just such a scary thing. You wanna know why there's none on this belt? It's because they're all going to making Vrauk Mark IIs, and I just can't seem to get it. Ah. You guys tried to do it for me and then failed. Nice work. All right. So We need something like this. And these will come along. And we'll move that down. That down. Oh, one more. No. No. No, we'll move these up. Move them up to here. And we can use long inserters to do all the things we need. Like these. And like these. And then we need sap extractors. And then we need the old sap recipe. And then we need the old sap trees, which I have put who knows where. I have no idea. Alt F. Sap tree. Storage. Okay, that's actually where I thought it was. So that's good news. And here we have 8, which is exactly the number we need. Perfect. Alright, place those, place those. Those are running. We gotta get these powered up. Throw down a new lamp. Okay, so sap is going... Oh, that's not the recipe I wanted. There we go. Okay, that's it. And then we need to offload the empty barrels and Vrauk cocoons onto this belt. And then the cocoons get fed in and the barrels go left. Empty barrel. And the barrels go left onto this belt. And I think that does it. With the exception of we're not handling spoilage, but these are going to be running constantly, so I don't think we need to. And that should get me another 0.25 Vrauk cocoons. So every 3 minutes, that'll run another recipe. That actually should help quite a lot in terms of rate. Whoa, I just almost spilled coffee on myself. Okay. Another thing I want to do in this episode, which we haven't done for a little while, is visit the Patreon garden. It's kind of out of the way, and I promise that will not be forever because our train base is going to encompass our starter base. I think someone suggested this, and I like their idea of not tearing down the starter base. I guess I did tear down the glassworks part, mainly because I was replacing it with one right here, but I'll probably leave most of this starter base intact, and rather than tear it down, we'll just leave it and just disable it. We've already, in fact, kind of done that in a lot of ways. We're just slowly putting less and less things into the train network from the starter base. But yeah, this will, our train system will connect over here soon enough. In fact, it almost does already. I could place this. I would want to be down there to make sure it all goes well, but we also need to connect up on that side for charging purposes. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's go over to the Patreon garden and add a couple names. And I still haven't added the $2 supporter names, which I said I was going to do. This is a long series, so thankfully I think we'll get to everybody. Don't worry. But I did kind of forget about this for a few episodes. So we're going to add a few people. I might need to even expand the garden yet again, because we've only got a couple more slots here. So we might need to... I mean, what are we doing with this rock hole? Does anybody know what we're doing with this rock hole? Or why we're doing anything? This is just an empty belt doing nothing. It was for fluid mining. It's literally doing nothing. Okay, cool. Well, we can just remove this. The tin, however, we're apparently using because it's flowing. If we weren't using it, it'd be backed up. I think this tin is getting used for... I was worried about that. I think it's getting used for the tin ore that we need for fish. Is it getting used for anything else? We're actually still using tin plates that are smelted by it. So I haven't replaced everything. Yeah, we're still using it for circuits, actually. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind that. We will need to move this belt a bit, though. Move it down to here. Add some more space onto the Zen garden. Oh my goodness, there's gotta be a faster way. Oh my goodness, I'm so sneezy today. I apologize for the sniffles. Allergies are still really getting me. This has been a long allergy season. I feel like they're getting worse as I get older, which is unfortunate or something. I don't know. Okay, I am gonna remove these real quick. And then we're gonna copy this bottom part down to here. And then I guess I can just manually place the stone bricks. Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna need some more stone bricks, I guess. And then power-wise, need to get these guys set up. And then I'm actually going to connect them with the big power poles now that I have them. Oh, I guess I don't need some on this side. Okay. Big pole. Put that there. Put that there. Put that there. I should get all those hooked up. Make sure the power's good to go, and then we'll go get the tiles here. But yeah, I really appreciate all my patrons. You guys are really, oh man, that radar did not appreciate that. You guys are really the lifeblood of the channel. Like, I cannot thank you enough, and the Patreon support has grown quite a bit over the last year, which has really helped with the full-time content creation. It's allowing, like, I've now, gosh, we've been doing like the full-time content creation for like 9 months now, and there have been some ups and downs, but it's gone really well overall, and the Patreon support has really helped it continue this far. I don't think if I had had no Patreon support and I'd had less YouTube views, I don't think I would still be doing it even right now. Like, I would have had to have kind of put a lot of my time and energy into, you know, some other job that has you know, maybe more consistent or slightly higher income. So I'm just really appreciative of the Patreon support. You guys are really helping, and I know that, you know, I provide entertainment for you, and that's the whole point, right? So like, I'm not feeling, you know, like I don't deserve it or whatever, or, well, okay, deserve is the wrong word. I would say I don't deserve it, but I don't feel like I haven't earned it. I do feel like, you know, those of you that support me are doing so with the full knowledge that you're spending money on entertainment, and that's your choice to make, and I trust you guys to be wise with your financial decisions. But it is just so helpful for me to make a living doing this with your Patreon support. So this isn't a plea for more Patreon support, though. Obviously, like, if you're on the fence and you're like, does he actually, you know, does it actually matter? Like, I'm just letting you know, like, it does actually matter for me. Patreon support's really valuable. But I don't want anyone to feel pressured or obligated. Like, if you don't have the money to do it, then don't do it. You know, be wise with your finances, be smart with your finances. I shouldn't have to say that, but I feel like the world in general is not very good with finances in both directions. I feel like some people are not good with spending and some people are not good with saving, and it kind of feels like everybody struggles a little bit. So, you know, a little bit of wisdom goes a long way, and my wisdom financially is that you shouldn't spend money on things you don't have money to spend. So, only support me on Patreon if it's something you're willing to spend on entertainment. But that being said, you know, I do really appreciate all the people that are supporting, and this little garden is a way to kind of commemorate some of that and honor some of that. So that's why we do it. Let me pull up the list here. So today's names that we are going to add are Judas and Blue Wilson. So we'll get the subgrid measuring here. I think it's still set to 6, right? Yeah, I might have accidentally changed it, so I'm gonna have to check on that. But it's Judd 4S. It's technically not Judas, you know, but I'm pretty sure using Leet Speak, that's how it's pronounced, if the kids are still using Leet Speak these days. Oh man, I remember when that was like a new thing. Gosh, how old am I? And then Blue Wilson. Oh, need a few more of these tiles. Yeah, I was figuring that would need to go. Wilson! Just makes me think of Castaway. Okay, that should do it. Ta-da! So, thank you very much to Judas and Blue Wilson, and I think we've fixed the visuals and the tin is still running, so that's perfect. And yeah, back to putting manure bacteria on trains. How are we gonna do that? Or more specifically, what I mean is, where are we gonna do that? I also want to check if these Vrouk things are running. Seems like they are. We're out of water barrels. Aha. Okay. We can sort of fix this. Let me go grab some more barrels. And we'll just put those into the buffer. 150 more should be plenty. I hope. The other thing that could be wrong is that this could be under serving. So let's bump it up to 260. And let's bump this up to 600, because it seems like the belt could fit a lot more on it, so let's bump these up a bit as well. 600, 600, 450, 260, 280. All right, that should fix those issues. Is that inserter fast enough? Ingredients. It is. We are using about 1 a second if everything's running all the time. So that inserter should be good enough. Hey look, Tim caught up. Nice work, Tim. You go. Okay, so yeah, more water barrels are needed. You know, I might just make this a fast inserter. Yeah, I maybe even need a few more barrels than 150, because I buffered a lot on this belt. That belt is, yeah, that's 200 barrels right there. It's 50 belts long. So we'll do another 100. Just to make sure we got enough to fill all the spaces that we need to be filled. Okay, that'll take a minute to propagate, but it should get there. And then the only other thing I'm slightly worried about is moss, but I think all these are enough. Maybe not. They're currently kind of emptied out. So maybe I can fit like 2 more right here. I need soil to make a couple more moss farms. Alright, grab the soil. 2 moss farms. Now I'm out of stone brick. Grab the stone brick. Alright. And then... why don't we... do this. And then I can just copy whatever's going on here. Is there a reason? Yeah, stone needs to be on the bottom here. Okay, so I can do this. And then that, and then we get some moss jewels. Oh, my inventory. Okay, wait, the stone we can get rid of. Copper's a little more annoying. But then I do need to steal some moss to put into here. There we go. Okay, so what's going on here? We have a problem with the pipes because we don't have those pipes. We'll build the pipes we do have, and now they're running. Okay, perfect. There's another 0.4 moss a second, which should help with the added cocoonage. Is it enough though? Pretty much. Pretty much. Good gravy. How have we still not gotten one? We're at 297. Come on, this is the one. I'm feeling it. Nope. Man, come on, man. You're so close. It's actually not. As we've talked about, statistically, it's no closer than when we started, which is a very defeating thought. But, you know, you throw enough darts at the board and some of them stick, so that's what we're going for right now. Anyway, manure bacteria, I would like to make its own block. Though, do I really want a manure bacteria block? Yeah, probably. Okay, so wait, all this needs is coarse fraction, which should probably also be on trains, let's be honest. And do I have those soil extractors? No, we need to go grab some. I do have 2 solid separators though. Okay, let's go grab from the bot mall some stuff. And then we'll have to find where to put all this crap. So manure bacteria. How much do I want to make? 100 a second feels a bit ambitious. How about 50? And we need agar the horrible. 5 seaweed a second. Yeah, that's a lot of seaweed. Electric boiler, which comes from that. And then, I mean, yeah, this is pretty much it. And I think this is where we said, oh, by the way, Hellmod Wait a second. This still... Didn't this used to not be tiny? I thought this window used to be bigger. Maybe it wasn't. But I feel like it was. Anyway, they fixed the bug that I was encountering last episode literally while I was recording the episode. So like if I had waited half an hour, I would have not even ever ran into the bug. Anyway, yeah, I just hate using 2 automated factories when we could just... It just feels so weird. Maybe someday I'll find a tiny build that can generate solid fuel somehow. But I mean, how would we generate solid fuel out of nothing? We would need biomass. Probably. What's the smallest way to make biomass, you know? And I don't know what it would be. I mean, we could just... The problem is just most of the ways to make biomass use composters, right? And composters are huge, so that wouldn't win any awards for tininess. What's this? Oh yeah, the enriched biomass stuff. I think there's some sort of plant way to make ores later. I don't know. I don't fully understand it. But this is all requiring things shipped in on trains. Oops, I'm sitting in the train still. So we need a couple factories, we need some high pressure furnaces, and we need some incubators, which I did. Hold on. I just want to get rid of this wood because it's clogging things up. I forget, did we fix that issue? Well, why was that happening again? I think we fixed the issue, but I can't tell you for sure if we did. Take those solid separators. I will now take some soil extractors, some more HPFs. I actually don't want to be holding this many of those tanks. And because these are the ones, yeah. Oh, the bot mall. Oh, interesting. That should be okay, because what's happening here is it thinks it's frozen because it hasn't finished a product recently and it's trying to build things. But that's just because we haven't requested products recently. But that shouldn't randomly wake up in the middle. Well, no, because if we build a... Oh, crap. No, this is going to happen. So it also needs to reset if we go from having nothing to something in the requests. But how am I ever going to measure that? Simply. I guess I could have some sort of... I could have one more looping combinator that... Wait. And anything is greater than 0. And anything... Wait a second. So I want the loop to break if wait a second. Oh, it's this one. Sorry. This is the looper one. So it only breaks when checkmark is equal to 0, which happens or when checkmark equals to 1, or because if I have no requests, no, this is an interesting phenomenon, because if the bot mall's idle for a long time, I want it to reset when this goes from having nothing to something. But the problem is, I don't want it to reset when this has nothing. I want it to be when it goes from nothing to something. So it's like we need a combinator that primes itself when we need like an SR latch situation. So when everything is 0 and so we could reset it by sending a check mark to this output. Whatever we do, we want to send a check to the output. Okay. So but only for one tick. I'm thinking of how I can do this with 2 combinators, but not 1, which feels really, really wrong. I feel like we should be able to do this with 1 combinator. Or even 0 more combinators. It feels like I should be able to do this with 0 more. Because this is... As soon as the checkmark equals 1, it resets the timer. And then if the timer's past a certain amount and we have a request, then it outputs frozen. But what I want is if we go from anything being 0 I guess we could reset the frozen meter when we go from having no request to having a request. So we need a loop. We need a looper. So that outputs... So when everything... No. When everything is 0 or green signal... Put green signal... Okay. But then this won't break the loop. Everything is 0 and green is 0. That's not gonna work. But green is 1. But then green is 1 and everything is not 0. Why is this so hard? My brain is not figuring this out. I feel like this should be fairly easy. To make a loop that when it's getting no signal, it will enter some sort of loop state, and then as soon as it receives a signal, it breaks that loop state and sends an output. I don't know why this is so hard. So the loop state that it's in everything is not 0. Yeah, but the problem is the everything signal considers the green signal too. I could say everything on red. So it'll enter the loop state, and then as soon as it has something, then this will start being, this condition will be false. And we want that to break the loop. So like right now, so if we have no requests, we want to start looping. And then once we start having a request, then this will be false. We'll stop outputting the green signal. So or green equals 0. But then it'll output green, then it gets into its own looping weirdness. Because then when green is 0, then it'll output green again. Why is this so hard? You know what? This should be so much easier than it is. The other problem is the bot mall can be frozen even if we have no requests. So I can't just measure, do I have no requests? I need to measure, am I going from no requests to some requests? And that triggers a reset. And that's the only time. Because the requests get stored into the buildings, and then this will go back to having no requests. But then we can still get frozen. So I don't want it to reset on having none. I want it to reset on going from none to some. That's when I trigger a reset of the frozen symbol. And for whatever reason, that is breaking my ever-loving brain on how we set up a combinator to do that. Because basically... Okay, let's do the simple 2-combinator version first. I say simple, it's probably still going to take me a minute. So if everything is 0. Then we're outputting the big circle symbol. So we know if we're seeing the circle symbol, then that's that. And then as soon as we have stuff, it'll go to not the circle symbol. So then I need a loop that says if everything is greater than 0, output the circle symbol. Okay, wait a second. So it'll go, so this one and then this one are gonna trigger on the same tick. I'm still not doing this right. How do you do this? I just need it to send a 1 pulse signal. Okay, how are my SR latches working? I've made SR latches. Let's kind of go back to the drawing board here. I apologize if this is not the content you enjoy. I don't know why my brain is getting so stuck today. Maybe I should just stop for now and come back to this in a different episode. Where's my little SR latch? Didn't we set one up over here? Am I going mad? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this one has 2 states of output. If it's enabled, it outputs a large signal to keep itself enabled until it drains back down to basically 1000, because it's adding 2000 to its own input. And then once it drains below 1000, then it will totally turn off. Huh. So that's a different scenario, though. I don't know how to connect that to what I'm doing here. Because that's not sending a pulse of just 1. It's an SR latch that stays on until the condition's false, and then it turns off. And we can do that. I've already done that a couple times with what we were messing with here. But how do you send a 1 tick pulse? It's like we need to use 2 combinators and the 1 tick delay and pass a signal through. So like, and that's kind of what I was thinking here. So there's got to be a way to do this where like we add, you know, we add these signals together. If everything's 0, we output 1. For each greater than 0, we're outputting something. So then for a single tick, this will read not everything's 0. It'll stop outputting. This one, right now they're both outputting. So for 1 tick, this one won't be outputting. And then this one will also stop. So as soon as we have a request, these will both go to 0. That's not what we want. Wait, why is that? Oh, because this is seeing everything. I really wish you could ignore certain signals. Because then it's seeing its own output is the problem. I could go greater than 0 and then output a -1. Maybe that's the key. That's the way to send an ignored signal. Okay, so right now this is receiving nothing. It will output a -1 circle when it does receive something. This one, it will output a -1 circle. This one is receiving nothing. And it will output a circle while it is receiving nothing. So then this one will output a circle. This one will stop outputting the 1. And then circle will stay -1 at that point. So there will be one tick where circle is 0, is that right? I think there will be one tick where circle is 0. Here, let's grab 5 HPFs. It didn't reset things. I gotta give up for now. I'm not getting this today. I don't know why. I feel like it's such a simple problem. But we're just not figuring it out. Okay, so manure bacteria. Where do we want to put it? Maybe up here? Got a nice empty station right here. We said we wanted to save that for metals related stuff though. I feel like I have so many stations and no space somehow. Cause I want that to be the crap area, which could end up taking a lot more space, so I want to leave that open. I guess this area is pretty open still. Should I put in station here? Yeah, let's do that. And did I move roboports? I don't remember moving roboports. But this seems to line up with other roboports, so that must have been an old model. That was one of the first rails I built, so we must have shifted some things since then. And I'm preemptively going to put this down here. And put one over here. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know, my brain was just total lockdown for 15 minutes there. Something just was not jiving. There's probably a super simple way to do it. Leave a comment. You know, this is the kind of thing where, like, I am asking for help. What's a simple way to send a pulse? And I could probably just Google that, to be honest. I'm sure someone has asked that question before. But the problem is a lot of the results are going to give me old ways to do it with 1.1 combinators. And so I'm curious, there might be a resource for it with the new combinators. There might not be, I don't know. But yeah, so what we want to set up here is just a bunch of manure bacteria, and then we put it on a fluid train. So we have a multi-request for seaweed, petri dishes, and manure. And then we actually don't do a multi-provide here. Instead, we want a F provider extension. Well, shoot. Yeah, that's fine. Providing manure bacteria. And then we'll just move the tank to be somewhere else. Maybe just right here. All right, that'll be manure bacteria. And then we gotta bring a wire over. Okay, that should do it. I'm gonna help out there. And straight rails are annoying, but what can you do? Still one more. Ugh, it's hard to delete. There we go. Okay, so manure bacteria, we need to import. Is 72 gonna be big enough? I think so. We might need a station control though, because I don't know if I want to import a full train load of petri dishes. Because running for 1 hour, this will use 1,800 petri dishes. Well, one train an hour is kind of like my threshold. I guess the question is how fast can I produce petri dishes? When they're backed up, I can make 2 a second. That makes me a little less scared to use them. Then 1,800 or a full train is only 1,000 seconds of production. Okay, maybe I do just request a train full of petri dishes then. But then the manure, do I want a train full of manure? That's the real problem. I don't think I do. Not yet, anyway. So I do need a station control for that. And constant combinator. Set to manure. And I will request 5 stacks instead of 20. Everything else is at 20 stacks. And we are requesting Petri dish. Empty Petri dish. 21. And seaweed. Maybe 30. And then manure. Hold on with the manure. The manure needs to be decided upon. So if manure bacteria is less than... Because what's the ratio here? 1.5 manure to 50 manure bacteria. So if I'm lacking 10,000, that would be 200 helpings, right? Yeah. 200 helpings of 1.5 is 300 manure. So 300 manure makes 10,000 in the tank. So 600 manure would be 20,000. So I want to measure if manure bacteria is less than 50,000, then I will output -6 stacks of manure. So I will only request that if we still have room. The problem is we'll get a double request. Well, I guess that's only if we unload all 600 from the... I should probably have 6. We'll have the threshold be the request amount. So it'll only be if this is entirely empty of manure will it request another one. And then by then... there'll be a few hundred on the belt, stuff getting processed. 75,000. Well, let's change this to like 40,000. Okay. So it's still enough to like fill a train. Okay. I think this is good to go. So this should be requesting. So this is manure, bacteria. Anger. Ingredients request. Or are we doing everything for manure bacteria? Maybe I should, let's be more consistent, because if I was requesting a specific thing, I would, let's do just ingredients for manure bacteria, like that. Okay, so that's that, and then we got a filter seaweed left. Probably empty petri dishes, right? I don't actually know yet what we're gonna do with the other 2 belts. I probably need to be done with this episode soon, but I want to get something done. So, the agar, because this is a spoilable situation, so I want to be a little smart about how we do it. So we've got the outputs, and these 2 factories are processing and making the petri dishes. So it feels like 1 per 2 is the way to do it. I know it's not the exact right ratio, but I'm happy with that being close enough. But then the agar, we need 5 high pressure furnaces for the total. So we only want to make agar. I don't even know. What's the... This is so tricky. I'm fine with some of it spoiling, so I think we'll just have to accept that some of it's gonna spoil. So seaweed will go back here. And then we'll need some steam. Maybe down here, actually. Pump jack. And 2 electric boilers. Good thing I can handcraft those. Hadn't thought about that part. And then we'll do a connection here. Okay, so there's that. These will each use 1 per second. So yellow inserter should do. And I only want those to run... Yeah, we're gonna have some specific requirements for sure. Okay, so then I will just underground like that, and then we will direct insert. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Wait, that's not the right building. There we go. Is this one right? Yeah. Okay, so there's direct insertion. on that. And then we're also gonna need the petri dishes over here. So that's seaweed. This is petri dish left, empty petri dish. Goes up that way. So we'll do seaweed and the empty petri dish. And I will flip sides here. I think it'll look better when the thing that's going left goes to the left. And then put this here. Okay. So there's that. Let's get this all powered. Really? Must not be a big pole anywhere nearby. Okay, so everything's powered. And we want to wire these up. So we only make agar under a couple circumstances. We need agar to be made only if we have manure I think this is how we want to do it, right? We want to do agar if we have manure and we need manure bacteria and we have petri dishes. I mean, I assume that's how we're going to do it. Now, I haven't seen manure yet, which is problematic because didn't we do manure provision? Oh yeah, we certainly did. So why is that not shown up yet? Oh, I didn't connect the output like a dingus. I saw that it was outputting, but we didn't actually hook it up. Okay. And then manure. Come out. And then... Of course we're out of belts. Are you serious? No! Why me? Alright, let's go grab some belts. LOL. And then... let's see. Yeah, I just don't know exactly how we're gonna do this. Because I don't want a ton of manure to spoil either. I'd rather have agar spoil than manure spoil, because that's easy to just burn the biocrud. Alright, let's grab some belts over here. Yeah, let me know in the comment. My brain's still kind of noodling about the whole situation with the pulse from when we go from having nothing to something, send one tick of a pulse, and then wait and rest until you go back to having nothing, and then you're primed again. You know, so it's like it's an SR latch. It's the same idea overall, but instead of holding a signal, it pulses a signal. And that's the big difference, that for whatever reason, my brain just cannot understand how I can set that up. I might work on it after this episode off camera, but definitely leave a comment and let me know your solution to it. I'm sure there's a dozen, to be honest. Like, Combinator stuff is so feature complete that there's probably like 5 ways to do it. But yeah, let me know what your way is. Ooh, lots of trains flying around here. And yeah, it's possible that by the next episode I've already figured out a solution. All right, I do want manure to only go on one side here. And I might even restrict this, because if I only need 1.5 manure a second, like, this belt can be mostly empty. I wouldn't want more than 100 on the belt. But I'm more thinking I only enable if... No, but the manure request is already limited. So maybe I just want to use up all the manure. Yeah, no, that's right. I just want to use it all up. Okay. So then we'll just use up all the manure. Right. So manure is the deciding thing, and we've already got that set to stop requesting. So we'll use up all the manure, and then we will stop making agar when there's no manure on the belt. So this will just measure this belt. And read, hold all belts, and so only work if manure is greater than 0. Now I realize this creates problems with empty petri dishes. We're not measuring for that. I could do a weird... No, that wouldn't work. I don't know what I would do. Oh, I thought that train was going to be full of manure. Interesting. So anyway, we're already seeing spoilage. So biocrud, huh? All right. Easy enough. We just need a trash provider. So strong side trash extension. Guess we put it here. And this is for biocrud. Okay. Think that's good? Is manure coming? Should be coming. No? Oh, this is just a UI thing. Sorry. No, now I'm confused. Request thresholds are interpreted, not the request. That has confused me probably a dozen times, that exact same thing. I'm like, wait, but it's sending a signal of 1500 seaweed. That's not a number of stacks, that's a number of items. Right, it's the stack threshold, that's it. This number right here is what it's talking about. That is saying 20 stacks. That's the only thing that's measuring stacks. Everything else, and this is measuring stacks. That's the other weird thing. So these are always numbers of items though, so I need to do 600, is what I'm saying here. There we go. That will trigger a manure request. But this is interpreted as a number of stacks. So that is kind of weird, but it sort of makes sense, but also kind of weird. So this is gonna be manure, bacteria, fluid provide, and then this station is going to be biocrud from manure, bacteria, trash provide. And we shouldn't ever see rich clay here, but it's possible. Rich clay. Put that in a chest. So this way it doesn't break. But like, it's not gonna happen very often. The only way it could happen, I just realized we do need to also measure the contents. Do not include in crafting though. If there's manure in these buildings at all, Oh, but what if there's like 2 manure in one building? Yeah, no, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. We need to then offload. And that means biocrud could end up on this belt too. So we know there are spoilable potentials on this belt. Biocrud. Okay. And you're for biocrud, use filters. Okay, so there's biocrud, rich clay. I don't know what we're doing with that. We're just gonna let it chill in a box. It shouldn't show up very often. Cause like, the way we've set this up, it shouldn't really be possible. This should use up all the manure pretty quick. First we have to get rid of all this biocrud. Okay. We should see agar running. Oh, that's less than 0. Whoops. There we go. Now it's all going. Sweet. Okay, and then just for the sake of argument, what can we make with rich clay? Yeah, it's just not easy to get rid of. I think just burning it's the easiest. Because there's no singular recipe that just like gets rid of it. We can turn it into ground samples, but that's not even any better, and then burn the ground samples. I mean, really, it's just turning it into stone bricks, but like stone bricks aren't hard to make. You just smelt stone, right? Like that, there's really not a ton of value in that. So you can turn stone bricks back into stone. So like, in a weird way, you can add sand to rich clay to make stone, but even that's not that useful. I don't know, that just doesn't seem worth it to me. Okay, we forgot some inserters here. There. Now we get the empty petri dishes, and then we need the agar to be fed into these guys as well. There we go. And then the agar will definitely spoil in here, so that'll just get offloaded with these inserters on the separate side of the belt. And it could be rich clay or it could be biocrud, and that handles both. Okay. I think we're set up for success here. Manure bacteria is being made. Perfect. And it's hooked up. Sweet. Okay, well, I think we're gonna call it an episode there. As always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.